Hello guys, my name is Dr. Varun and here I am back with another day 30 most important topic for NEET 2025.
Chalo, let's complete it.
Well, in this video, we're gonna be talking about the one of the most fearful chapter among the students, that is chemical coordination and integration. That is the zoology chapter where different endocrine glands present inside the human body has been talked about. Let's just dive into it one by one. We know that the glands which secretes hormones are called as what? The endocrine glands. So that's why the chapter is all about the endocrine glands. Starting with the chief gland, that is what? Hypothalamus. And at the last, we will talk about how the hormones are working. Okay. So first we are talking about the glands. So one by one, I am writing the glands and we will try to understand what is there. So hypothalamus, it is present in the brain. Okay. So hypothalamus, where which part of the brain? The brain has diencephalon part. So that part is what? Is this. So located in diencephalon, located at diencephalon part of forebrain. Okay, the next thing is what it does. It has two different types of functions. One is excitatory function, other is inhibitory function. So it is what? It is a chief gland, chief endocrine gland, which has two major functions. Okay, number one is either it is having a stimulatory function, so it stimulates, okay, or it will inhibit. Okay, so if the stimulating function is there, the example that is given in NCERT is GnRH. That is what? Gonadotropin releasing hormone. So it will do what? Once the hypothalamus will release this hormone, it will go and act on the anterior pituitary. All of the things that has been released by this acting on the other glands to start the secretions of something, and this gonadotropin will go on what? It will go and acts on anterior pituitary, because anterior pituitary only have gonadotropins, which we will study later. Okay, so anterior pituitary. Whereas if we see the inhibitory functions, then the inhibitory hormone is somatostatins. What is somatostatin? It will inhibit growth hormone secretion. So means opposite functions. So remember, the antagonistic to growth hormone is what? Somatostatin. The somatostatin is also acting on the anterior pituitary only, because anterior pituitary have the growth hormones. Okay, so growth hormone function is being retarded over here. Hypothalamus is this. Okay, the basic crux, if I want to tell you. Of course, hypothalamus working what? By the neurosecretory functions or the hypoportal functions. The anterior pituitary is joined by the hypophyseal, means a portal system is there, whereas posterior pituitary is joined by what? By a neurons. Okay, let's go to the pituitary, which is just present below to it. Okay, so the structure we have to study. So imagine that this is the yellow color part is your what? Hypothalamus. Just imagine. Okay, and from this hypothalamus arises a stalk kind of structure. Okay, and this structure bulges at the end. Okay, into a certain part and certain a backward part. Okay, so this part, the backward part, is known as posterior pituitary, or posterior lobe of pituitary, whereas this anterior, this is known as anterior lobe of pituitary, and this one thing which I have made, which is just fused with the anterior pituitary, that is middle lobe of pituitary, which is fused. Okay, this structure which is present over here, this stalk like structure called as infundibulum. Don't get confused, infundibulum is in the female tract also. Okay, so this thing is there. Now this hypophyseal region that we have studied, that we have to see. So there is a connection between this and this gland, and this connection is through certain blood vessels channels. So this is what the hypothalamus is joined with the anterior pituitary through what? It is with the help of hypophyseal circulation. Whereas posterior pituitary is joined with the help of neurons. And the endings of these neurons are highly swollen up because it will secrete certain of the hormones. So this is what? Neurosecretory connection. And the swelled part is called as herring body. Now on that basis only, there is another name given to it. The posterior pituitary is called as neurohypophysis, whereas anterior pituitary and the middle lobe is called as adenohypophysis. Plus there are other parts, other names are also given to it, like pars distalis, pars nervosa, pars intermediata, to these anterior, posterior and all of those things. Okay, which is not given in NCERT, so we are not juggling into it. Let's see about the pituitary gland. Now here only, if I am telling you the basic, then the anterior lobe of pituitary, posterior lobe of pituitary and the middle lobe of pituitary will release certain hormones. So you have to remember, the posterior lobe of pituitary will release two hormones, two different types of hormone. Middle lobe will release one type of hormone, whereas anterior lobe of pituitary will release 5 to 6 types of hormones. Okay, let's just see one by one, starting with the anterior lobe of the pituitary. So in your anterior lobe of the pituitary, so lot of hormones are being released. One by one we are studying about it. The number one hormone that we are studying about it, that is the growth hormone. The growth hormone will be responsible for the growth of the body. And this hormones, if you need to grow, you need the energy. Energy will be obtained from the glucose. So glucose breakdown will take place, utilization will take place. So means it will be what? It will be a diabetogenic hormone. Basic thing we have to remember about it. So now here you have to remember one thing about is that if the growth hormone is secreted in excess or in less amount. Okay, if the growth hormone is secreted in excess, means hyper secretion will occur. Then what will happen? The person will appear gingitism, a giant person. Okay, this happens if that happens during the childhood. But what if this thing, hypersecretion, occurs later in the life? Like for example, right now if it started occurring again, because right now it has stopped secreting, okay, but if it started secreting in the higher amounts, what will happen? It will cause me acromegalia, which is what? A chimpanzee kinds of appearance, longer hands, longer jaws. And if we do not check then what will happen? It could leads to death. So death means what? It is fatal. Next thing is if there is hyposecretion. Hyposecretion means if the amount is lesser present. If it is a hyposecretion, then what we will do? What will happen? Then the person will refrain the shorter, means your clowns which you might have seen. So means they are what? Dwarf. So the condition would be called as dwarfism. Dwarfism. So this you have to remember. Moving on to the next hormone. The next hormone is gonadotropins. Gonadotropins. How many types of gonadotropins are there? There are two types of gonadotropins present. So what are these two types of gonadotropins? Number one is the FHS. FHS is called as follicular stimulating hormone. Whereas this help in what? It stimulate the follicles in the female and it will stimulate the Sertoli cells in the males. Okay, so in males and in females, in males it stimulate Sertoli cells, and in female it stimulate follicles. So do the follicular development. Moving on, the next gonadotropin is LH. It is called as luteinizing hormones or luteinizing hormone. Okay, so the luteinizing hormone do what? In males, this luteinizing hormone acts on Leydig cells and it secretes what? Androgens. Okay, and in female this luteinizing hormone will act on corpus luteum and help in the secretion of progesterone plus estrogen. Of course, this follicle will also secrete the estrogen, not progesterone. Just remember this fact also. This is gonadotropins. Then after gonadotropins, we have other hormones which will be secreted. What are those hormones? The next hormone is prolactin. It is what? It is milk producing hormone. After parturition is what, beta? It is after the delivery of the baby. After parturition, released by lactating females. So production of the milk is being done by what? Prolactin. Okay. Next hormone that you have to remember, that is thyroid stimulating hormone. This will do what? It will stimulate thyroid gland to release its hormone. Simple. Similarly, the last hormone that you have to remember, ACTH, that is adrenal corticotropic hormones. It will do what? It will stimulate adrenal cortex. It will stimulate the adrenal cortex to release cortical hormones or corticoids. That's it about the anterior lobe. Then I have told you what? There is a middle lobe. Middle lobe is releasing only one hormone. That hormone is what? That hormone is the MSH. So middle lobe, which is also called a pars intermedia, it releases only one hormone called as MSH, that is melanocytes stimulating hormone. So basically it do what? It basically leads to the even availability, like even tone, even the skin tone, in young in vertebrates and invertebrates give colors. In certain vertebrates and invertebrates give skin color too. Okay, then comes the last lobe, that is what? Your posterior lobe. Posterior lobe. In posterior lobe, there are only two hormones secreted. Number one is the oxytocin. What oxytocin do? Oxytocin, there are multiple functions of oxytocin. Number one function is ejection of milk. Means milk will be produced inside the female follicle, but it won't be coming out from if the oxytocin is not present. So ejection of milk from mammary glands. Plus it is responsible for the contraction of the smooth muscles, especially in the uterus for the delivery of the baby. So it helps in the contraction of uterine muscles during parturition, that is delivery of the baby. Next we have what? We have vasopressin. Vasopressin is also called as ADH, that is antidiuretic hormone. It will be released when the person is suffering from loss of water, okay, to reabsorb the electrolytes from the distilled part of the your distilled part of your nephrons and as well as the constrictions of the arterioles. Okay, so it is to conserve water loss. Okay, and if the condition, if the prolonged diuretic condition is there, then this condition leads to a disease called as diabetic insipidus. Same, the diabetic word means it will be thirsty, thirsty will be there, food requirement would be more again and again, same like the diabetes, polyphagia, polydipsia. Okay, so this thing will be there. This is all about the pituitary gland. Moving up to the next gland which is present inside the brain, that is a pineal gland. Okay, so next gland that we're gonna be studying is the pineal gland. Two glands we have already completed. Okay, pineal gland is the easiest one. Okay, what is there? Where it is located? It is located on the dorsal side of the forebrain. So this is important, dorsal side of forebrain. Okay, back side. Then its hormone is called as melatonin. Melatonin hormone is released. Now this hormone do what? It is important for the proper day night cycle in the individual, menstrual cycle of the females. It even help in giving the help in the metabolism, pigmentation of the body temperature, these things. Okay, so its function is what? Maintain body temperature, menstrual cycle, pigmentation, diurnal cycle means sleep wake cycle, metabolism, etc. So this is about the pineal gland. After pineal gland we come up to the next gland down. This is what? Our thyroid gland, which is present over here. Now this thyroid gland is present like what? It is present lateral and ventral. Here it is joined by the small patch of this structure which is made up of. Okay, so after pineal gland we have fourth gland, that is thyroid gland. Now the thyroid gland is what? It is present on the lateral, means this side to this side structure like this, and here it is joined. Okay, it is joined like this. This structure is called as isthmus. We have studied isthmus in the female reproductive tract also. So remember over there also the same word is coming back again. So thyroid glands, first question would be what? Location. So it is what? It is present ventrolaterally. It is present ventrolaterally around trachea. Next part that you have to remember, that this structure has what, two parts. One is stromal tissue and the follicles which are connected. This isthmus and all I'm not writing. Okay, so this has what, these glands have composed of two different things, stromal tissues and the follicles. These follicles are only secreting what? They are secreting your hormone. So the next question is, what is the hormone? There are two types of hormones which are secreted by the follicles. Okay, so the thyroid follicles secretes two hormones. One is T4, one is T3. The T4 is what? Tetraiodothyroxine, which is the thyronin. That is actually the thyroxine hormone. Okay, whereas T3 is triiodothyronin. Now the next thing is, for both of this you can see that 3 iodine or 4 iodines are required, means iodine is very important. That's why we used to say that if the iodine intake is less, means the thyroxine hormone is not produced and disease will occur. So here comes the diseases. What would be the diseases? Either it will be hyposecretion diseases or there could be a hypersecretion diseases. So if the hyposecretion is there, okay, means less amount of thyroid is being secreted, then it can cause the simple goiter, puffiness over there and all. Okay, so if iodine is less in diet. Next is that if it occurs like during the pregnancy, okay, so if during pregnancy it happens, it leads to what? It leads to the growth of the baby also stunt, because thyroid is that important for the mental, physical and sexual growth. It is needed. Okay, so during pregnancy in child, what will happen? The disease is called as cretinism, in which the stunt growth will be there, baby IQ will be less, baby might be deaf and mutism is there. So these things can be there in the growth of the baby, and it can even leads to myxedema, that in adult it can happen this way also. Meanwhile, when the hyposecretions would be there, there will be what I told you, that these are responsible for a lot of functions, sexual, physical and metabolism. So metabolism will be affected. Okay, then along with that there will be what? There will be irregular menstrual cycle, because sexual well-being is also being disturbed. So irregular menstrual cycle will be there. Okay, then the next thing you have to remember, that if there is a hyposecretion means can be what? Due to cancer or due to increased follicles. So it is hyposecretion, that is called the disease exophthalmic goiter. It is also called as Graves' disease, where what happened? The weight loss would be there, there will be increased metabolism will be there, and there will be protruding eye will be there. Okay, so these things will happen in the exophthalmic goiter. Now the next thing about this, you have to remember that these things are being done by what? Follicles. Along with follicles there are certain parafollicular cells. Okay, so there is the presence of parafollicular cells. What does these parafollicular cells releases? It releases a hormone TCT. What is TCT? Thiocalcitonin. So this hormones do what? It decreases the calcium level in the blood. So this is the important one, which is not written, but NCERT said it in the uncrypted form in the next paragraph. Okay, so it do what? It, like NCERT simply said, it's regulate, but we have to remember that it decreases the calcium blood level, means blood calcium levels. How it will decrease the blood calcium level? For example, whatever the calcium present in the blood, it will be go to the bone, okay, or it may be excreted out. So these way it is increasing or decreasing the blood calcium level in the body. Okay, so this is very important for you. Moving on, the next is presence of parathyroid glands. They are present at the back and they are two pairs, means total four present in over here. Okay, at the back you can see it. So the next one is the of course, one thing I have forgot over here, the functions of this thyroxine. Okay, so the function of thyroxine, in which you have to remember what? First of all, it is important for the growth, metabolism. It is most important thing is it is important for the RBC formation. There are three glands or three hormones which are working for the RBC production in your book, which will be asked to you as a question. That would be what? One is your thyroid gland, one is your adrenal gland, cortex gland, not the medulla gland, and one is your kidney, okay, erythropoietin hormone. So this thing you have to remember that these three do that. Moving on, they help in the what? Erythropoiesis. So erythropoiesis is also being done by them. Okay, they are important for water electrolyte balance, etc. This thing you have to remember. Coming up to the next gland, that is parathyroid gland. So parathyroid gland location, I have told you everything I have told you. So what was the location? Present dorsally, two paired gland in between the follicles, in between the thyroid follicles. Okay, next on the each lobes. One lobe is this, one lobe is this, both the lobes. Next is the hormone. The hormone of parathyroid gland is parathormone. Okay, function of this hormone, which is the most important function. The function of this hormone is that it increases the calcium level in the blood. So it increases blood calcium levels. How it will increase it? So if you want calcium in your blood, so what it will do, it will absorb more calcium from the food, first thing. Second, it will do the reabsorption of the bones. Reabsorption means whatever the calcium present in the bone, it will go into the blood. The bones becomes fragile, thinner. So these things will happen. So can we say that this hormone is what? Hypercalcemic, whereas the last hormone about the TCT is opposite of it, antagonistic of this. It is what? Hypocalcemic. Okay, so this thing is there with reference to in the blood. Okay, moving up to the next one after parathyroid, the next gland is thymus. Thymus, where it is present? It is present just above your heart level. Okay, so it is present above heart at mediasternum area or space. Moving on, the next thing you have to remember that hormone is secrete. It secrete thymosin. Function, if we see that, what is the function of this hormone? It is responsible for the maturation of T lymphocytes. It matures T lymphocytes, which fight against the infections, give the cell-mediated immunity, humoral immunity. You know about it from the immunity topic. Here we will just remember this fact over here. Okay, moving from the thymus, the next gland is the adrenal gland. Okay, so the next gland that we're going to study is the adrenal gland. In adrenal gland, where it is present? It is present superior to the kidneys. Okay, it is a paired gland present superior to kidney. Okay, the next part that you have to remember about this is that if it is present, it is a triangular shaped gland. So if I'm making it, it's like this, and it has two parts, a cortex part, outer part, and the medulla part of it. So I am making what? I am making a cortex part of it. Okay. So this structure which I'm making is the cortex part of it. Less, but it is present. Okay. So this is the area. The white area is the adrenal cortex, whereas this inner part is the adrenal medulla. Now it secretes multiple of hormone, and that's why it's fascinate me a lot that why there are so many types of hormones present over here. Let's just see that what are they. In the adrenal medulla, there is the presence of catecholamines. What are these catecholamines? There are certain hormones which are working together over here, and we call them catecholamines. What are they? They are epinephrine and nephrin. Okay, epinephrine and norepinephrine. Epinephrine, norepinephrine, and it is also called as adrenaline, or noradrenaline. So these hormones and their second names are given to you, and these are called as catecholamines, commonly known as they are catecholamines. Now what their function is. So these hormones are responsible for the fear, flight and fight kind of a thing. So just imagine that two conditions I can give you, but I will give you the one that is more okay. That is what? Just imagine that when there is a dog started running towards you, what will happen? You will get what? You will fear. Okay, first like, oh God. Then out of fear, you will start running. While running, while this whole thing happens, what happened to you? Once the dog started barking, like, so what happened? Your eye dilate, means basically your pupil dilate. Remember, inside it, the black area is there, that dilate. It becomes bigger. As it becomes bigger, the next thing would be you will be alert that the dog is coming and can bite you, and then you have to take the 16 injections. Okay, so they, like, of course now it's 8 only. So this is what it's, your alertness increases, your pupil dilated, meanwhile you got a goosebumps are called as piloerection, like your skin, like all of this hairs on your skin, they are raised up. Then you started sweating. Okay, running, sweating. Okay, because you're feeling the heat. Along with that, you are running, heartbeat increases. If the heartbeat increases, what will happen? Pumping of contraction of heart increases, heartbeat is increasing. Ting, 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 ting. Along with that, what is happening? Your rate of respiration will increase. And if the rate of respiration is increased, what will happen? Your body requires more glucose. So what will happen? Breakdown of the glycogen will occur, because in your body, food might be over by this time. So what will happen? The glycogen, stored food in the liver, will started breaking down. After that, protein and lipids will also break down. Means this catecholamines will go and attack on what? On your glucose reservoirs, lipids, proteins and all the reservoir things, and all went in the respiration, because we said that respiration rate increases, means every substrate will do the respiration. I hope you understand this thing. This has been given in NCERT, very easy to remember. Okay, so if not, then go back again in the video and again see that what I said. This is catecholamines, what they are working. So 3 F's. Okay, and their action. You have to just remember that what your body will do when the dog will start running behind you. Moving on, the adrenal cortex. The adrenal cortex has 3 zones present. Okay, if 3 zones present. So this is what? This is the innermost area. So I am saying that this is the innermost region of it. Simultaneously, after that, there is what, middle region of this, and after that we have what, the third region also over here, the outermost region. Let's just name them. This is the inner region or the inner zone. This is what, this is the middle zone, and the last one is the outer zone. Now we have a name present to it. What it is? In urine formation we said that GFR, that is what, glomerulus filtration rate. Here also it is like this, that what is that, this is GFR. So all this area is called as zona. The inner outermost is the zona glomerulus. F is zona fasciculata, and innermost zona reticularis. Okay, this is the trick to remember it, and this we learned it. Now the next thing is that adrenal cortex releases different types of hormones. Okay, other one releasing catecholamines. Two types we have studied that, epinephrine, norepinephrine, other names also there. Here these three layers are there. These layers are secreting different hormones. Three different hormones that we have to study. What are they? Number one is the corticoids. So all, like in journal we said what, the cortex is there, their hormone would be what, corticoid. Hormone is what, corticoids. But these corticoids are further different in the different layer. Okay, so your glomerulus means outermost layer, it will secrete your mineralocorticoid. Mineralocorticoids. Out of this mineralocorticoids, what their function is? To absorb the minerals, water, sodium, anything which is there, to absorb that. Okay, so its function is that, and the main mineralocorticoids that is present is known as aldosterone. Okay, so example, aldosterone help in the sodium, water and all these. Example. Then fasciculata. The fasciculata is responsible for the glucocorticoid. Now these glucocorticoid, the example, the main one is the cortisol, and this is responsible for all the carbohydrates process for the respiration that is needed, lipolysis, proteolysis to be occurring over here. Now here you have to remember that the cortisol is also responsible for many other glands like cardiovascular system. It is responsible for the kidney also. Okay, so that the other hormones can work on it. Okay, many important part is that it is very important for the RBC production. So this is an important point. RBC production means this hormone has an effect on what? Erythropoiesis. Erythropoiesis is what? RBC formation. Then we have to remember that the reticulate, that is responsible for releasing the sex hormones, that is estrogen, progesterone, testosterone in smaller amount, which do all the functions related to the secondary sexual characters like pubic hair development, little voice changement, enhancement and all those things. So this will be by the reticulate layer. Now one disease has been given to you in the syllabus, that is Addison disease. That is due to the hyposecretion of adrenal hormones. Which adrenal hormones? Corticoids. Leads to what? Leads to Addison disease. Addison disease. What happened in the Addison disease? Acute weakness, fatigue, carbohydrate metabolism change, all of this thing will happen. This is all about the adrenal gland. Okay, do it, very important, adrenal gland out of all. Next is the pancreas. Okay, don't worry, we are about to just complete it, because what we are left with? Pancreas, testes, ovaries, very easy. Last question also came. Okay, then hormones of the other glands and the hormone actions. Quickly I will tell, don't worry. Okay, so the next thing is the pancreas. Now pancreas is present where? Over there, this area. Okay, it's a mirror image. Okay, so pancreas present. Okay, the pancreas has different types of cells, two types of cells. Most of the cells are exocrine gland, few of them are the endocrine gland. Okay, the endocrine gland we are studying. In that, the endocrine gland alpha, like the endocrine part, represent only 1 to 2% and is represented by these cells, certain cells, and those cells are called as islets of Langerhans. There are 4 types of cells present to it, but in our NCERT only 2 are given to you, so we will study 2. One is alpha cell, second is beta cell. The alpha cell is responsible for the secretion of glucagon and beta cell is responsible for the insulin. Both of them are antagonistic. And if I'm saying antagonistic means what? That one will work to increase the thing, other will work to decrease the thing. Since pancreas are responsible for the blood glucose level. If someone will ask like which hormones are responsible for the blood calcium level, then TCT and the parathormone. Okay, here they are antagonistic for the blood glucose level. So what it does, this glucagon, it increases blood sugar level. Whereas your insulin, it decreases blood sugar level. If there is, okay, decrease this. Now, if glucagon is increasing the blood sugar level, means how it will increase the blood sugar level? It will act like if blood has to be more sugar, what it will do? It will reduce the amount of uptake of glucose from the intestine into the blood cell. One thing, it will do that. Second thing, it will do the process in which it increases the glucose. How the glucose can be increases? If the glycogen is broken down into glucose, if the other substances like amino acids, means your proteins plus your fats, they are being made to make the glucose. So means new glucose formation would leads to this problem. Okay, so where this thing like this glucagon is present, where it is present in the hepatocytes, means in your liver, so it will act on the liver cell. Whereas fat is present where? In your adipocytes. So what will happen? These two cells will be acting about it. I know a lot of things are there, but if you have done it before, then this thing is able to be understood. Or just remember the fact. I'm just linking up all the things so that NCERT becomes easier for you. Okay, so fats means adipocyte, it will work. Okay, the next thing is, if this hormone is increasing the sugar level, can I call that it is hyperglycemic hormone? And if the prolonged hyperglycemia will be there, we will call that what? That insulin is not working in them, and that glucose, high level of glucose in the blood, starts secreting into the urine also, and started forming other substances like ketone body. Okay, because glucose is what? Aldose form of the sugar. It will form the ketone bodies. It will start also releasing into the streams, into your urines. Okay, so it is a hyperglycemic hormone, and it could lead to, prolonged could lead to diabetic mellitus. And who will be responsible for it? This will be insulin, because insulin is not releasing, although the work is being done by glycogen, but someone should be there to maintain the level of glycogen. So what is insulin doing? It's decreasing the sugar level. How it will do that sugar level? First of all, whatever the sugar is present, means your glucose uptake by cell will increase, or they will go to the liver, means hepatocytes, and to the fat cells and convert into a storage glycogen or something like that. Means this hormone, this your insulin, is what? Hypoglycemic, means it reduces the sugar level in the body. That's all about it, about the pancreas. Moving on to the next one, after pancreas we have the gonads. So if we see, the first one is the testes. So now over here, if you remember the human reproduction chapter, in that also we have done the hormonal controls. Here what happened in the hormonal control, your hypothalamus, just listen carefully, hypothalamus will release gonadotropic releasing hormone. It will act on the anterior lobe of pituitary. Anterior lobe of pituitary will release FHS and LH. FHS will act on the Sertoli cells, okay, and LH will act on the Leydig cells. This LH is also called as interstitial cells, okay, or the interstitial cell stimulating hormone. Okay, so don't forget, in case of humans, males, we call this, okay, Leydig cells. The Sertoli cells will do what? It will help in the spermatogenesis as well as the release of hormone inhibin. Whereas Leydig cell will do what? It release androgen, which is what? Testosterone, and it will go and help it. This is about the testes. Okay, what about the ovaries? In case of ovaries, again the body, like everything start with hypothalamus. Hypothalamus will release gonadotropic releasing hormone. This will go and act on the anterior pituitary, anterior lobe of pituitary, and this will has two function. It will act on FHS, like it will release FHS and LH. FHS will do what? Follicular development. Follicular development will release what? Estrogen. Whereas LH will do what? It will do the ovulation plus corpus luteum development, or sustain, not the development, but it's sustain, like let the corpus luteum stay for 14 days, okay, which will release what? Progesterone and estrogen, and they will do what? They will maintain uterus and other features. This is about the ovaries. Now these are the major organs which are working. There are certain other glands which are also working as this, that are what? Number one is heart. The heart will release a hormone ANF, antineurotic factors. We have discussed its working, that when there is a blood volume increases, it help in decreasing back to normal. How? You can refer back to the video of functions of kidney or regulation of kidney function. Okay, that has also been given in my previous classes. Okay, you can go back. First is this. After this we have what? Kidney. We have studied the adrenal gland, but kidney also helps. So what is the role of kidney? Kidney releases a hormone called as erythropoietin, which help in what? RBC production. So this is a third gland I have already talked about. This question can come important. Okay, next is your alimentary canal. In your alimentary canal, different hormones are being released, and their function we have to remember. Number one is the gastrin hormone. The gastrin hormone is responsible for the HCl production or release, plus the pepsinogen secretion. Same, gastrin is done. After gastrin we have another hormone, which is the hormone which is responsible for the pancreas release of what was that? That was secretin. Secretin acts on pancreas and really, like gastrin release on the gastric mucosa, means in the stomach. Okay, so this is on the stomach, acts on pancreas and help in absorbing electrolytes. What electrolytes they help in the absorption? That is bicarbonate ion plus water. After secretin we have CCK. That is what? That is cholecystokinin. Cholecystokinin. It acts on liver plus pancreas, and it help in the release of what? Bile juice, as well as it help in the release of the pancreatic juice. Okay, juice or enzymes. And the last one is the gastric inhibitory peptides. They help in the inhibition of secretion plus motility, means the movement, that is what? Parasplastic movement. This is all about the hormones. Into it, only one topic that is there, that is the mechanism of hormone action, where the question will come. I hope that you will be able to do that because it's the easier topic. If not, then let me know in the comment section. I will make a extra video for you and upload it on my WhatsApp group, that is Biology Simplified English. You can find the link in the description also. Well, that's all for this video. Thank you.